Russell, okay, so 4 points from the last two games. Things started to go how you wanted them to go, as far as the points. The performances have been there. You're now starting to get the reward with the points.
Yeah, I think I'm disappointed not to have 6 points from the last two. But we knew it was an important week for us, 2 home games. So yeah, 4 points, not a bad return after losing a couple away. So now, I'll be really happy if we're sitting here after tomorrow night with 7 points. I'll be telling you it's a really, really good week. So we have to make sure that's the case now. But yeah, fairly pleased with, as I always say, with the character for the players to win and to then draw. But frustrated that we haven't got all 6 points, if I'm honest, over the course of the 2 games. But really pleased with performances. Got some tired bodies in there who are starting to feel the effects of a lot of games. But I thought again that some really excellent performances. And there was 2 or 3 on Saturday who just couldn't quite hit the heights they hit previously because of fatigue and it's catching up on a few. And also the game was different. It was different to how it should feel really, with no crowd and no fans. So I think it was deemed maybe not as eventful as it might have been. But when you actually look it back and take all of that out of it, it was a really, really good performance from us. I know they had a couple of good chances in the box, which Fish done really well to save, but kept them penned in their half for most of the game, if I'm honest. And we let them off the hook a couple of times. As I said, they got there, but apart from that, we just weren't quite good enough in the final third, which is why people feel differently about the performance than perhaps I do after watching it back.
And over the course of this season, you've remained hugely constant in your message, in your belief in the side. Have you always had that belief? Have you always had the ability to keep very focused on what you have to do and what you believe in? It's something that comes across very strongly with you as a manager, as a person, when we talk to you, that you have this inner belief in what the side should be and how they should play. Does that ever waver? Do you ever lose a little bit of confidence every now and again?
No, I don't think so. I think what I would say is I believe now more than ever, because the players are showing us evidence that it's working and it's really going to work at some point. That for me, that I believe the only way we can go with this is forward and progression and keep improving. And results will match that and do the same. I'm completely confident in that, because I think what you build up over the period of course of your playing career, and when you do your coaching badges, you speak to other people, you soak up your experience and advice from other people who've been in this position in the game. But I think when I got a job, which I was hoping for eventually, I would do it in a way that I really believed in and was really passionate about. And otherwise I just wouldn't do it. So that's why I'm so grateful for the players and for the club for the opportunity, because it's not easy the way we're doing it. I've said that to you before. It's really not easy. I think a lot of people probably think it's too much for the level we're at for some people, for some players, but they go and prove that they can do it, and I completely believe in the players to go and do it, and they completely believe in the process and what we're doing. And I learned throughout my career, it was really playing for some high profile clubs at some difficult times, that it becomes really important to ignore the noise and really focus on what you're doing. And if you don't have a process that is consistent and it's driven by emotion, that becomes really, really difficult. So I think what we've tried to create here is a culture where you have real clarity in what's expected of you day to day. You have real clarity in your role on the pitch on a Saturday or a Tuesday night, whenever it is. And you're going to be judged on that, and that's all you're going to be judged on, your behaviour and how you adhere to the values of this football club and how we want it to be. And you're going to be judged on the Saturday on your performance. And other people are going to judge you differently to how we are as a coaching staff and the other players are going to, because we are really clear in the idea of how the game should be played and how the game should pan out for us. And most of the time this season, it's gone the way we'd hope it to in terms of performance and turning it into a game that we want. But the results haven't quite matched that. But that's why I truly believe, even if you look at all the objective evidence and not how I feel, it tells us that we are going in the right way. We've hugely improved on last season, expected goals, all that stuff, shots, all of that stuff that doesn't really drive me, if I'm honest. But sometimes I need that to look at the evidence and say, do we need to tweak something? but all of it suggests that we're working on something, and we just need to keep getting better at it. And we are going to, and we'll keep working extremely hard at it. And trust and believe that eventually it will give us the results that the hard work, the players, and the courage they have to do it, and the courage of the football club, and the patience and the trust for the fans. They reward all of that at some point. So I think, when I speak to you, and I always say it, my belief has never wavered, and it's never just a front and coming out here and telling you that that's what otherwise we would have changed the way we played by now, trust me. But I think it is complete belief in what we're doing, in the process of how we're doing it, and the clarity in which we have of what we need to move forward and how we need to progress and improve. And that comes from constant communication and constant hard work on what we are doing and focusing on us and being aware and respectful of what we're facing against the threats against us.
Your next opponent's Northampton. It's a very short trip for MK Dons. I think as the crow flies, it's the nearest professional club to MK Dons. And there's been no love lost between the two sides through the years. I think because of that vicinity, and there's been some decent matches between the two sides as well. So a good game ahead, I think. Yeah,
they gave us a tough test earlier on this season, obviously in the cup. I really like Keith Curl as a guy, and he's been really successful. They really got them going over the last couple of seasons. So a lot of respect for him, what he's done in the game. So it's going to be a tough game for us. I'm looking forward to it. We need to build on 2 positive performances and results. And as I said, if we do that, it's an excellent week. So we have to make sure we go there and turn it into a game, as I say, most games, a game that we want to play and impose our own game plan on them. And it is going to be tough. They make it really difficult for people at their place. Tighter pitch than ours. The way they play, is really aggressive on the front foot, and it's been successful for them to have a group of players that really buy into that. And they've got some real quality as well. So we have to be aware of that. But we'll, as always, we've analysed the game from Saturday. We'll show the players what we feel we can take from that and learn and improve moving forward. And there's some really clear bits that are a little bit frustrating when we watch back that we have to just keep reinforcing. But if we go there and learn from Saturday and from last Tuesday and focus on what we need to do, we're confident we can go and get a result.
And just finally for me, Russell, obviously the national lockdown has been announced for the next month, and obviously you have to continue playing football, and your players have to do that under difficult conditions for them and their families as well, because I think a lot of times people forget, they just think of the footballer as an individual, they don't think of them as a family that have children and brothers and sisters and parents, etc. And during this really busy time of the physical aspect of football, there's also the mental aspect. And as well as you having to deal with the tactics, the decisions on who you're going to pick, you're also almost a father figure to a lot of these footballers, and you have to take on the mental aspect of what's going on at the moment as well, don't you?
Yeah, it's the most important aspect. That's the bottom line. It's that simple. It's if you're not in the right mindset for yourself and how you feel about yourself and the situation, then there's no way you're going to be able to perform at your best in terms of football or any other part of your life, really. So it's tough for these guys. I mean, a lot of them, the football matches at the weekend are a way for them to reconnect with their family who come down and watch them, because most of them live away from their family and friends. So even that now, with people not being able to come watch a game, that's hugely changed for a lot of them. So they've seen a lot less of their friends and family than they would do usually. So I don't think any of that can be taken for granted, that it is difficult for the players. It is difficult, and it's going to be a really difficult period again for a lot of people this next month. So we have to take that into account. We have to make sure the players get enough time away from here, but at the same time, when they're not being able to do anything and see their friends, not too much time on their own. So it's about them getting around each other as well, making sure they're there for each other and keeping each other company, because we are in a bubble down here in terms of we can socialise with each other, etc. at training ground. So we're fortunate we've got each other to go through that, because a lot of people haven't got many others or anyone. So we have to try and use that to our advantage and make sure we're all there for each other and we look after each other and protect each other, so that we can all not just perform on a Saturday, but we can all feel positive about ourselves and make the most of a tough situation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.
aside from the mental aspect of the lockdown, how is it going to affect MK Dons operationally? I mean, you already mentioned to me just before we started that potentially having to change hotel plans for when you go to away games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think we're on the case now with Kirstine and Andy Cullen and Simon and Ian, the kit man, just to like logistically, operations and stuff. If we can stay in the hotels we plan to stay in for away games, if they're shutting, if they're going to remain open, I think they're all still waiting for guidance. I don't know how much it's going to change our day-to-day activity here as well, obviously with the hotel and the restaurants, etc. here with the players eating the food. I don't know how that's going to change, so we'll have to wait and see on that front. I know there's obviously a lot of communication about that going on at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see. But I am really pleased that we are going to play through this lockdown. I think it's really important to a lot of people, especially our players, staff and all the people connected. I think it gives a lot of people something to look forward to in terms of the games that they can watch. So I think we've proved on the whole in football that it's a really safe and secure environment with a lot of testing if someone's not well straight away, etc. So and when there has been outbreaks, they've been really isolated and contained really quickly within the club. So I am really pleased we're playing through it. I think it's the right call for football and for the public in general, because as I said, I think the last one there was very, very little to focus on. A lot of people being at home, and obviously the schools staying open is a bit different this time as well. But I think it's important that football remains open for its supporters and for the people involved in it.
I think a bit of a forgotten man at Stadium MK at the moment, Kieran Agard. We know that he's out with a knee injury. How's he progressing and how's he getting on? Yeah,
Kieran's fit. He's been training. He's a good pro. Trains probably every day. And yeah, he just has to wait for a chance if it comes. We've had a lot of communication. He knows where I stand on things. I know where he stands on things, and unfortunately, he just doesn't fit into the team at the moment or the squad, because we've got some really good options. But obviously, the door is always open. You never fully close any door, because we might need Kieran at some point. He's a member of our squad and a really professional one that's good for the younger guys and the other players around him. So he's not in the squad at the moment, but he's training. He needs to get fully fit, and when he does, he might become involved again at some point.